Hey everyone, it's Karen, and on today's episode, I brought Jarrett, an author that I found on Instagram. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes. All right, so as usual, I always ask plenty of questions, so let's dive into all these questions, guys. You ready, Jarrett?
Uh, sure. Let's get
Okay.
this thing out.
All right. So the first question I have for you is how do you find time to write?
I do not. Um, I am a parent of a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, and who's just run up to my door over here to look at. They keep me pretty busy and on it all the time. So I try to sneak in some moments when I can. Luckily, this year they're both at some programs during the day, so I do get a couple of hours to get some work done. But it's sneaking those little moments in when I can. I try to wake up early before they wake up, but they usually always hear me or something and wake up and get into that.
That's part
Come
of
here.
life, though. It's okay.
Come say hi real quick.
Yes. Well,
Sorry.
hello. Oh, it's part of life. Hi,
It is.
children.
This is my typical day. When I start writing a sentence or two, they come up and sneak and see what's on the laptop or the desktop. Um,
I love it, though. They
they are
love
my
you.
world. So
Yep. All right. So the next question I have is how do you know what to write?
I whatever kind of inspiration hits me that week, or if there's a topic um,
Mhm.
that I'm interested in. A lot of times, if we do a trip or something, I'll write about the trip.
Okay.
Um, sorry.
No, like I said, it's fine. Part of life.
Well, my wife's trying to wrangle them out and they're throwing a big fit. So it's kind of hard. Um, I
Life.
have a list of topics that I'm interested in. Right now I'm writing a lot of short stories. I try to do some tech blogging and stories about being a stay-at-home dad and stuff. So, the stay-at-home dad stuff, when something happens, I'll leave myself a little note to come back and try to turn it into a story.
Yeah.
Um, Fiction, you know, it just kind of hits me sometimes. I'll be out there in the real world and something will happen. I'll be like, hey, that could be an interesting thing to investigate with a story or with fiction or, you know, something to that effect.
Yeah. Well, that's neat. That's exciting to find out. Yeah, stay home. I have to work, so it's kind of hard for me to work and write too. So, but I don't know. You have a full-time jobs too,
Hmm.
staying home like that, and you got two of them,
Yeah.
two full-time jobs. You don't have just one. So, but yeah, I understand the trying to find time situation. It's really difficult around life, but it's life. Like we do stuff that makes us happy, no matter what. So.
Agreed.
All right. So the next question I have is how long does it take you to write a book?
A long time. I've only really have the one that I've gotten out there, full length novella, really. It took a very long time because before I was a dad, I was a teacher and a tennis coach. And so that I was putting in 80, 85-hour weeks. So I would come up with an idea and try to work on it, during my conference period when I didn't have anything to grade or a parent to meet with or anything like that. Um, it takes me a long time just to get the words down. And then it took me even a longer time to get through and edit it, which looking back now that I've gotten a little bit better at everything, I wish I'd spent a little more time editing and line editing the piece that I do have out. But it took probably about a year and a half to 2 years. I wish I'd kept up with it. I don't really remember. I remember the inspiration hit and my wife sent me out of the house for her baby shower with our firstborn. So I went to the park and started writing. And I just meant for it to be a little short story just to get some practice in, but it ballooned up pretty fast. And then I remember after my son was born, trying to work on it in between classes and stuff. I was trying to get some editing and stuff done like that during my slow season of teaching and coaching, which there was never really a slow season.
No.
Um, And
And
then,
I understand that. My job, I work with all retired teachers. So
uh,
I've of every my
yeah.
boss is he used to be a principal, school bus driver, the cook, everything. So yeah, I understand the school life.
Yeah, and then I think that summer hit, and I just tried to make a really big effort to get something out. And I kind of set a publishing date for myself and worked on it real hard and got it all together and launched it on it as an ebook. Um, I think it was July of 2022, 2021 that I got it out there. But it took quite a long time to get it all together and done. My process has improved a little bit, but again, I'm still stealing moments to get all this stuff done. And I'm right now I'm trying to get at least one short story a month published and one blog post a week published. So I'm still getting lots of words in and trying to get all the writing stuff done.
Exciting. That's really good. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Continuously still doing it, even though life keeps saying no, no, no. But I like that. I like people that keep pushing. So, all right, the next question I have is, what is the most difficult part of writing a book?
Uh, Man, I think it just depends, honestly. If you have the inspiration and the words are going well, I feel like it goes fast. And when you don't have those words, it slows down quite a lot. Um, Editing, I don't feel like I was giving a very good basis in editing growing up through high school and even college to the extent that I would like for what we're doing. So I've kind of had to teach myself. So editing has been more difficult, but I've also kind of found a little bit more joy in it than I definitely used to have. But it can still be kind of tough trying to make sure you're catching everything and making sure you're using the right words and stuff, which still kind of is scary and intimidating to me. So I think it just, like I said, it just depends. If the words are flowing, it's easy. If not, it's a slog. And then editing, I think, can be difficult, but it's also pretty rewarding too when you get it all figured out.
I like how you said that because I hate editing. That's why I haven't had anything published because I'm so picky about editing. Like, I think my story's perfect, which I know it's not. I know it's clearly not. But I'm just like, I always never found joy in it. And the way you said that, it made me think. I'm like, wow, I actually like that now. So. Thanks for helping me want to edit my own stuff now, I guess. All right,
Well,
the next question I have is, did you self-publish or go the traditional publishing route and why?
I self-published mostly because I didn't know how to do the other thing. I didn't know how to query or find representation or go through the route. I kind of, in the back of my mind, always had it as if I could get good work out there and get the numbers up, then that stuff might come to me. And I don't think that's necessarily the truth, although I think it can happen. But also, as I mentioned a while ago, like I put a time limit on myself and I wanted to get this out there just to see the process and what would happen. And so self-publishing was kind of the easiest route to get that accomplished, I feel like.
Really good thought, because yeah, I used to always want everything done for me, but now I like the self-publishing route now. It's a lot better. So I'm glad you went that way. The next thing is, what important advice would you give a first-time author?
The thing that I've noticed myself has been that you have to be consistent. You can't just wait for inspiration to hit. You have to, well, I think it's different for everybody, but for me, my experience has been is finding that time to actually get the words on the page, dedicate that time to editing, to doing everything that you can on that writing. Because if you're doing it piecemeal or only when you have that idea and it's sparkling and you're good, you're not always going to follow through on it, I feel like. But if you're consistent and you show up every day, not only will you be getting those words done, but you're going to improve and you're going to get better at it. And, you'll have goals and routines that you can fall into and it makes it easier, I think.
I do that. I second that. I think if showing a consistency all the time, it's really helpful. So yes, I like that. The next question I have is, what inspires you to write?
I've always just felt like I've been a storyteller. I've always wanted to write, um, tell stories. Like I mentioned, when I was in fifth grade, I remember my friend and I were very into Star Wars. We were reading all the Star Wars books, and I finished one of the kids' ones, and I was like, I want to write my own. So my friend and I just got together and got on the computer and started writing it. So I feel like storytelling has always been kind of part of my life and who I am. Um, I've always wanted to make a career out of it. And right now, my situation is such that I am a stay at home dad. My wife can provide for us, but also my kids are not going to need me forever once they're both in school full time and not needing me as much. I would really like to be an author and be able to make, contributions to the family monetarily through that thing that I'm passionate about. So that inspires me to continue to work and work on the work and get better and try to get all my words out there and, tell my stories that I can.
Like that. All right. The next question I have is, when did you first realize you wanted to be a writer? I guess kind of when you started writing
Yeah.
in fifth grade.
I did that. I do remember, I think even younger than fifth grade, the neighbors and we'd play in the backyard and we'd be like, let's put on a play. And we'd come up with a story. So
Yeah,
like I said, I've always kind of been a storyteller, I feel like, and I love that part of my life.
that's awesome. All right. The next thing I have is, what are your favorite books to read?
My absolute favorite book is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. That was one of the first books that when I picked it up and read it, I couldn't put it down and I finished it in like a weekend. I'm pretty sure I was in middle school, like seventh or eighth grade. When I became a teacher, I even opened up a course on it and bought all the kids a copy of it to teach. Michael Crichton was a pretty big inspiration too. Like I remember reading all his books in high school, like Jurassic Park and Sphere. Recently, Frederick Bachman has become one of my favorites. I haven't read all of his stuff, but every new thing that he's putting out, I try to get. And, when I need a book, I kind of look to see what he has at the library or whatever that I can check out and read. I hate to say this, but I did love Harry Potter. I don't like all the controversy around it, so I'm trying to stay away from that. But
Yeah.
those were some of the books that growing up, I read and couldn't put down. So I did enjoy them. I don't like everything that's surrounding them now, so I'm staying away from them and all that. But uh,
Yeah.
those were some of my favorites.
Yeah, I love I grew up on Harry Potter too. So yeah, I'm with you. I loved it growing up, and now everybody's like twisting it and everything. And I'm just like, can we just have some happiness of our childhood, please? Like, can you
Right.
leave us alone, please? Um, so I totally get that. But yeah, I'm a big Potter fan. I was in the Gryffindor house and everything. So and then the Jurassic Parks author Michael. I've read all the Jurassic Parks, and I have a few of his other books. I haven't got to read just yet. Um, but I did get to read, I can't think of its name, but it was had to do with like a scientist finding the dinosaur bones down in like a Texas area or something. I can't remember what it was called, but I'm really big. I always wanted to be a paleontologist when I grew up. So that anything with dinosaur bones and stuff like that, I like discovering that. So anything with that. But I agree with those. I really like those points that those books that you brought up and how you were able to bring that one series for your students. That was great. Wish my teacher would have done that. I'm so
Well, as a teacher, especially in the past, we always did the classics, and those could be pretty challenging to read, I felt like. So it was nice to bring in something that I was passionate about, was a little bit newer, kids could read. My school district before I left, luckily we had changed, so we're not doing class novels as much. The kids get a lot more choice in what they read. So I think that's going to help out. But that's a whole tangent that we don't have to get on. But
yeah, no,
I liked
no.
being able to bring something newer to the kids when I was teaching.
Yeah, I got stuck with like Romeo and Juliet, like you
Hmm.
said, the classic. I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked it. It's just like you said, having the teacher be able to pick something they like would make me feel like they were being able to be part of us instead of
Right.
just the school saying, do this, this, and this, and that's like forcing the kid and the kid's not being able to like learn and stuff. So again, but I'm not gonna get on that either, but just a little bit I did. So. I have just, it looks like four more questions and then we can wrap up.
Okay.
And so the next question is, what is your favorite part of being a writer?
I love just making up stories and kind of seeing how I can get the pieces to fit together. I don't want to say that I'm necessarily a planner. I do like planning, but I also, let the story take me when I'm writing, wherever it goes. But it feels almost like a puzzle piece that I'm trying to be like, okay, how do I get from the beginning to the end? How do I get this character to change? What can I do to test them and put all those things in it? It's fun for me to figure out, even if it's a struggle, I can't figure out what to do. Once it clicks, it feels great. Um, I like being able to visit other worlds that I'm also, kind of creating and balancing out when I'm making these things and how these world ticks because we fall in love with things like Harry Potter or Star Wars and that magic, not like the Harry Potter magic, but like just the magic of traveling to another galaxy or universe that's a little different than ours is fun. So creating that stuff I feel like is awesome as well. I also like seeing where my characters take me when they take me to unexpected places. It's fun to get surprised when you're the one creating. You're like, oh yeah, that could work really well too, and then you take that onto a different track. I found that especially when I get stuck trying to follow that path that I created, if I go back and fix it, like change it and do something different, the story starts flowing. So I just like how they speak to me and create these magical worlds that we don't get to experience normally.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like that's the reason why I started reading when I was in elementary was I didn't have a lot of friends growing up and stuff, so I would escape to a different world. So I like being able to, how you say, create it and stuff. That's a really nice line.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. Next question I have is what makes a great story?
The characters to me and how they react. Like I love a story, and that's where I usually start my creation from. Is I have this story that I want to tell, and a lot of times I feel like I get caught in the I got to move from point A to point B to point C, and I never really get to see how the characters react. But when I edit, and I'm like, oh yeah, we didn't spend enough time on this. I'll go back and put that in. But really, when I'm reading a good story or watching a show, it's the characters that you care about and how they're reacting and what happens to them that really brings you into it, I feel like. So even if you have this magical world, if your characters are just robots going from point A to point B, you don't usually care as much. But when there's drama and you want care about them and how they're going to react and suffer, that really pulls me in.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, you got to have emotion with the character. There's nothing, like you said, just robots walking around doing nothing. Okay. What is the most surprising thing you learned while writing your books?
How much writing or a career in writing is not just writing because you have to do everything else like marketing, build your client, not your client base, but your reader base. Like you can't just write your story and put it out there and hope everybody's going to come to it. You could write the best story in the world, but if nobody knows or if nobody recommends your story, then it's not going to go anywhere. So marketing has been a learning experience for me, and I'm still very much trying to learn this marketing thing. Um, your level of good will change a lot because again, I always thought that I was a pretty good writer and I could write a story and it would go out there and people would read it and start sharing it and it would spread like wildfire or at least, get a few hundred people maybe to read or tens of people. But as good as I thought I was, I realized there's still things that I have to work on. And so the I mean, I've never been one to settle and be like, oh yeah, this is the best I could ever do. Like I always feel like I can work to improve on the next thing. And I'm constantly doing that. But I feel like you have to write a lot and you have to really work on it. Like we said, set some time aside and really go to town on your writing to continue to improve. But just getting the work out there, I think, is one of the hardest things besides writing.
I agree with most of that too, because yeah, I'm in business class, and because I figured since I love writing, I do art, that's illustration writing. Now I need to learn the business side, so I figured I'd just get a bachelor's in business and then minor in English with an emphasis on creative writing. So yeah, there's a lot of business
Hmm.
stuff. Like it was just all fun and games when you're writing and painting and stuff and drawing, and then you get to the business side and you're like, why can't I just have fun?
Right?
So why I gotta be business? So, all right. So the last question I have for you today is, how do you handle writer's block?
I mentioned it earlier. When I get stuck and I can't figure out how to get through a scene, I usually backtrack a
Mhm.
little bit and maybe take the left turn instead of the right turn to see where it takes me. A lot of times I just get stuck not knowing how to connect the point where I'm at to the point I'm trying to get to. And so if I just ignore that and go back and go the opposite way and maybe have a character react a different way, it seems to loosen up that word blockage and I can start piling through it. I also, maybe sometimes you just take some time and work on something else for a few minutes or for a few days and come back to it with a fresher mind. But the most success I've had is when I backtrack and go, hey, let's do this a different way and see what happens.
Like that. All right. Did you want to talk anything about your book that you did release about Mark? Do you want to show your marketing skills right now and talk about
Uh,
your book a little bit more?
well, I don't have a hard copy of the book actually. I'm working on putting up a page on my website,
Okay.
jswordsmith.com/Letty Rose, Lettyrose, where you can read the first three chapters and see the artwork and stuff. And if it's something that you're interested in pursuing, I have the links where you can get it for, I think it's $2 on Amazon or Apple Books. Um, I didn't want to invest in the hard copies until I could see how it sold. And, I'm doing really great with like my 15 copies or so that I have sold. I think it's a few more than that. But yeah, let me see. I do have a picture, but I don't know how to share my screen anymore since I've lost my teaching skills. I guess it's fine. Let's see. But Letty Rose is a story about a detective who has some addiction problems. She's also a mother. In this novella, she's been hired to find somebody, and when she does find them, they are not the person that she was told who they were. So she kind of tries to unravel everything about why she was lied to and how she found out the information she did find about the guy. Um, and then why this person was trying to find this man. It's hard to say without giving away too many spoilers, but
Right.
she has to battle dealing, taking care of her son, dealing with her addiction problem, dealing with a terrible client while trying to figure out the truth about what's really going on. So if you are interested in like noir mysteries, I feel like that this would be a good chance to try it out. Like I said, there'll be the first three chapters are available on my website if you want to give it a shot.
And I will be sharing all of his links and stuff on all of my posts on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all of my platforms that I post on. And so if you want to reach out to me, or I will also tag him in all of them. If you want to reach out to him directly to talk to him about the book, that's great. But yeah, this is awesome. I really appreciate you talking a little bit about your book today and coming on here.
Of course, I really appreciate you reaching out and having me on. It's been a pleasure to discuss things with you. And if anybody does have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I do have a few more blog posts up on my website about me if you're interested in about why I left teaching or why I became a stay-at-home dad. Those have been pretty popular. So, uh, yeah, marketing.
Yep, just get yeah, yes, exactly. just getting to know the author and stuff, that's always helpful too, so that you can feel more connected. Because I feel like if you can't really connect to, even if it's not the author, but at least the book for sure, if you can't connect to something, then there's really no point to even, I don't know, try to reach out and stuff. But I don't know. Anyways, again, thank you, Jared, and everyone for joining us today. And I will catch everyone on my next episode. Bye. Have a great rest of your day.
I thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to download this and then I will obviously edit and send everything like I said in the message and stuff. So, did you have any other questions or anything?
No, how's school going?
It's
Are you
going
done with
really
school?
good. Yeah, I am not done. I actually graduate next June. So I'm actually my class or my because I'm taking classes through Columbia College and they are doing a pilot program where it's 16 weeks worth of homework in 4 weeks because a lot of students, yeah. So I'm doing 8 weeks and 4 weeks on top of each other, just so
Oh
that I
man.
can. I'm double booking and going full time because I'm an admin at because I work at DESE, so I'm a state worker for all schools in Missouri. Again, just an admin though. I don't do anything really like particular. My section does. They do all the map testing and stuff like that. So, but yeah, just it's going great. I just want to be done. Like,
I know the
I
feeling.
really do. Like it's draining me, but I've always loved learning. I've always been a nerd growing up. I've wanted to know as much as I possibly can because I feel like that gives me the best like ability for anything, any job, just in life in general too. Being able to know a lot of stuff is helpful. So, I don't know.
Well, thank you for the opportunity and reaching out. For
Yep,
real,
no
I really
worries.
appreciate it. It's fun.
Yep, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right, bye.